Since COVID, the younger generation in all industries don't want to work as hard as they used to. So are you finding it harder now, or would people find it harder to start restaurants and have the same loyal team? And, you said they may have to work 3 days.
Yeah, but
be open for 3 days.
I'm with it. I understand.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100%. It's not because I worked 80 hours, a week or more, sometimes a lot more, that this generation should do it. No, absolutely not. In our industry, yeah, we're open on a Saturday and a Sunday and sometimes on Christmas Day and things like that.
Yeah.
But not all restaurants.
No.
Gavroche, we were always closed for Christmas, New Year, Easter weekend, always. And we had 2 fixed days closure a week. You can come into the catering industry or the hospitality industry and you can pick and choose where you want to work. There's a job for everyone. Not everybody is cut out to do Michelin-starred food or high-end food. You can be equally as proud as a chef working in a greasy spoon. And you should still have the respect. Well, if I go to a greasy spoon or I go to any kind of, sort of restaurant, I noticed there are some food trucks out there.
Yeah.
I'll call that guy chef.
Yeah.
He's cooking my pizza. He's a chef. I respect him.
Mm.
And so there's a job for everyone, as I said. It's not for everybody to be doing those silly hours, but we need to address that in our industry.
Mm.
And I think we are getting to that point where we are addressing that. And we need to attract the next generation. And we're not going to attract them if we're working silly hours.
No.
Definitely not.
Do you think, because I think every new generation thinks the things they're experiencing, they're occurring for the first time.
Mm.
And when you were, or, maybe in the 90s, say, there were lots of chefs who were choosing not to go down the route of Michelin star, and opening like smaller places in Soho and like the Alistair Littles and the whatever, and doing it differently. And there are people doing it differently now. So there is probably more of a drive to change it and work-life balance and getting more women in the kitchen and, all those good things. But the problems have probably always been there and been addressed. And, it's a cyclical thing.
Yeah, because, even you mentioned Alistair Little and Roly Lee.
Roly Lee, yeah.
Simon Hopkinson, that was that era.
Yeah.
Young Turks there, they were doing something, they were doing things differently. And it was, my God, it was good food. But they were working all hours.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, yeah, it is that. And I hear it constantly as chefs saying, I interviewed 2 chefs this morning. The first thing they asked was, what's my day off?
Yeah, right.
How many days off have I got? And by the way, I can't work on next Saturday.
It's tough.
It is tough,
Yeah.
but we as an industry have to work with that, and we have to be much more flexible. We have to open our eyes and open and be much more open to taking on people part-time, for example, or flexi time, and working with that. So rather than having, a brigade of 8, maybe you'll end up having a brigade of 12 or 14, but some of them will only be working 1 shift a week.
Yeah, right.
But that one shift a week, that person working is probably, it will be working fantastically well, fantastically hard, and you'll be really happy to be working with that person. But we just need to break the mold and think, differently.